Welcome to Soni Irabor Live. Well, tonight we have somebody we call showbiz impresario. Yeah. And he's been a single-minded operator of broadcasting that really gladdens my heart. His story is one of resilience. He has managed to carry everything all by himself. And like joke, as we say, Bisi Olatilo, Prince Bisi Olatilo, is my guest. And not just being my guest, he's also my colleague. He has spent 50 years in broadcasting. And guess what? He's also maintained 25th anniversary of Bisi Olatilo show. But the story we are going to tell you tonight is how he managed all of these things almost single-handedly. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Sonny.
How you doing? Can't we, right?
Well, to say the truth, it's a beautiful place.
Thank you.
And please know and let the world know that I watch you guys regularly with a religious regularity. 422 on what they call it, DSTV,
yes.
Yeah. News Central.
And
I stumbled onto it and I called Kayode Akiteme. I said, You mean you've been doing this and we didn't know? Now that I've known, count me as your special fan. And I watch them regularly. Congratulations, well done.
Thank you.
And I've seen things. When I got in here, I said, are we not CNN with the BBC? Well done, all of you, well done.
But it's the same to you too. Congratulations and well done. You've carried on for so long.
Thank you.
We look at you, we say, this guy, nobody would think that with your multilingual, tendencies, with your different styles of MC, with your ability to carry on BISCON communications and all that, you're there. Always there.
But thank God for that.
So you're worth celebrating.
Thank you very much.
How have you managed it?
God first. And the thing that we broadcasters know all the time, passion than hard work. Passion and hard work.
I spoke to a few friends
two things
and they said,
that go together.
You are a very committed, loyal friend. That's what they said. And they are not even broadcasters. So how do you manage to keep all of these, your tentacles of friendship,
Well, I'm happy that you are saying that. I hear that almost every day. And with that, I've been able to build a very big brand equity that is almost turned to be like a lifelong, what do you call that now, that can keep me till my life ends. And that's why I've been able to have the kind of successes you're talking about. I've amassed so much in terms of goodwill. The goodwill account is like an unfinished one. And that put all of that together, that's why you will see all of this. Those
When
that
did
you
you start
help,
broadcasting?
also they want to help 75. That's a broadcasting corporation of Oyo State.
Oyo?
Yes.
Okay, that would be BCOS.
BCOS, yes.
Yeah, you did a BC, BISCON communication.
Yeah, Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State.
Yes.
In 75. And what did we do there? It actually fetched me my wife. I've said that almost beginning to sound like a broken record on that. There's this big program that I was, presenting then.
What was it called?
Wazobia is a request show.
Oh, okay.
I paired
In fact,
with,
you started Wazobia then.
Definitely. I paired with a lady called Tony Egumbo. She's in the UK now, and it was like it hadn't happened before for one man to speak 3 languages fluently and all that.
Fluently.
So I went visiting with a friend to his own girlfriend. Up there I met my wife, and TV wasn't that the vogue then. It was radio. And radio conceals your identity.
Yeah.
All right. So when she saw me, and it's like everything about me she loved. So instead of me following up after the first meeting, she followed up. And I say jokingly that in fact she ended up toasting me. There's so many things. The kind of story behind my wife and I is the thing we will spend so much time talking about.
You've been married several decades.
44 years this year.
44 years this year.
And there's nothing she didn't do for my sake to hold on to me. Now, I mean, she's from a Muslim family. I'm a Christian, from a Christian family. But her sister that she considers her mother, may God bless her, because she lost her mother when she was 40 days old.
Oh, wow.
My wife. So the sister that she considers like a mother spoiled the way for me, because she went and married a Christian too, and they're from a very, very, they're called Muslim family. The Sidis, they're from, the father used to be an educationist, as rich as the likes of Dangote in those days. But she decided to say, Daddy, that's the man I want to go with.
Whether religion or no religion, it didn't matter.
That's the man I want to go with. In fact, she sponsored a trip abroad. As far back as 77 or 77 or something. And I should say this is an occasion where I shouldn't hide anything. I've written a book, I stated it there, these things don't hide. I was repatriated. All right? She was allowed entry, just to show that this guy just loves me. She still came back. You can imagine that. Any other woman was like, I better leave this man. When I go to join us together. She came back for my sake. And lived in one room together and so on. And fantastic woman. Princess Folashade Olatilo. I praise her all the time. With God and her, I'm cool.
Thanks to God for that.
Yeah.
And it also taught you a lesson. What did you learn from it?
Quite a lot. The lesson that my wife has taught me is that I should continue to praise God. In so many circumstances, the Lord has shown His greatness. And that's why I say all the time that if I'm not kind to this woman, God will not forgive me. So it has taught me a lesson that is my woman that the Lord has chosen specially for me, divinely chosen for me. Should I also talk about the event, my close shave with COVID-19?
Oh, wow.
My wife
will get there.
My wife was, my wife was, what do you call it? She was negative. I was positive for about a month. This woman held on to me. And, but for her and God, would have been a different story. So there's so much to talk about her in my life.
Your journey through broadcasting started in Oyo State. And then what I saw in you when we met in 79, by the way, was a man who, as it said, multilinguist, but you were also very hardworking. You were an adventurer of sorts. You took things with such determination that gave me, we are supposed to look at you and say, there's a lot to learn from you. Did you feel any sense of, maybe one time you are not encouraged, you don't want to continue? What was it? What really spurred you on?
I think I should take you back to how I actually dreamt of broadcasting. That's a story you want to hear, and quite a lot of people have shared it with a lot of people who say, is that so? I say, yes. Started dreaming about being a broadcaster since when I was in secondary school at Kiriji Memorial College in Ibadan between 67 and 71. The thing there was you must listen to Radio Vision. And the voices that come booming were the likes of Iken and Daguba on the news and what's it? Shola Folong on radio commentating.
Yeah.
So I began to say, why can't I do this? And I started mimicking them, practicing it, reading news for the assembly in school. And no match gets played if I've not been there to do commentaries on football. So that's how I started it. And I said, but when I got out of what they call secondary school, it was not easy for me to get employed, with any radio or TV station. Tried as much as I did, it wasn't possible until 1975. The likes of Alex Condi of Blessed Memories and Nyojo Adebite were those that helped.
He heard Oyo.
If you heard the voice, definitely, if it is good enough, there's nothing you can. You don't have any other choice but listening and do the right thing. And so that's how I came on board with what do you call that now? the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo.
That means you must have had a lot of influence of the likes of Alex Conde on you.
Yes, Alex Conde and I were reading the news. He was almost like a DJ. But the difference in his own DJing was that he brought a lot of professionalism into it. Yeah. A lot of intellectualism.
It was very free-flowing as well.
No, he tells a lot of stories.
To him
very rich stories. Not just bang and throw away. No, not just bang for the sake of banging. Bang with a lot of information. And another person that took his, was Nyojo Adibita. He also, that was a professor. Professor on the, what do you call it?
So why did they let you go from Oyo State?
No, I was going to go myself. I was going to go and get properly educated. That's why we're heading. That's why I headed abroad.
Okay.
But that was abroad. You heard the story I told you about.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. But I never thought that Lagos FRCN is the place to really throw you up as a national star, which was what happened in '79.
And it threw you, launched you, plunged you into the federal might. Bisi became a symbol of communication, MC, and one who could just speak Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba effortlessly. How did that really? I'm a bit more curious. I know you personally, but how did you do all those things?
No, but the thing that should baffle everyone is that although I speak Igbo with a lot of fluency and all that,
you've not been to any of
in the
places.
north.
You lived in the north.
I learned Igbo in the north.
Okay.
I only got to the east for the first time at age 40. I'm going to be 72 by God's grace this year. So everything about my Igbo learning and the rest of it was amongst my friends in the north there. Of course, how that should come naturally with being raised there and all that. So I think it's a special gift that the Lord has endowed.
I'm a bit curious to see what would be your advice to Nigerians generally.
What I've been saying everywhere.
To unify the country, because...
What I've been saying everywhere is I don't know where we missed it. If I, a Yoruba man, can live in the north and understand and be able to speak Igbo in the north without going to the east for 13 of my growing up years, during my formative years, 13 whole years I was in Kano, I could not even speak a smattering of Yoruba. I couldn't speak a smattering of Yoruba.
Which is your own original
language. What I'm trying to say is that if that can happen,
yes,
where did we lose it? And we were like one and the same. We're Christians. We live where the natives live, Sabungeri in Kano, for those who understand it. They were flowing with me. When we have, Christian events like during Easter, Christmas, and the rest of it, they came calling to celebrate with us. The same way when they had their own, we go with them. You didn't know the difference between amongst all of us. So I think it's the politicians that brought this about. It was the politicians that did this to us.
So what
for their own gain.
Politicians to now do? Because the National Assembly is supposed to help them, unify them in that concept that you just talked about. Your ability to speak, understand, and relate with other people.
I think we should try and challenge ourselves. It's a challenge that we all must try and rise up to. And even amongst our children. But let me say something. I've said it in many places. Where we're failing, our children are just going on and helping to build the way we started. They're going back to it and even building it stronger than we started. My children, for instance, I didn't know Yoruba, as you know.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure they have friends from other places other than the Yoruba people. More places, more, more non-Yorubas than Yorubas. I'm That would be surprising if my son that left is not married now would even choose to get married to me. Even I've been advertising it. Let one Igbo woman come. So I can have
a Wazobian connection.
What I'm trying to say in effect is that our children are they're trying to help us with that. Most of the marriages you see these days are intertribal marriages.
Intertribal, that's true.
Which is good.
Yeah.
They're going to bring us back to light in that respect.
Okay, back to broadcasting. You are a daredevil adventurer of sort. So Biscom Communications started. What necessitated your determination, that's the word, to do that, Biscom Communications?
All right. You know that it's unfortunate that I've been telling this story. It's like those who are supposed to
You can never stop telling it. We'll make
like those who are
me.
listening to me, it doesn't make any sense to them. Or they've decided to just tune off from listening to it. How can I, celebrating 50 years in broadcasting, be going cap in hand and be begging for a TV license or a radio license?
It shouldn't happen.
I should be begged with it, because in fairness, even if I have to say that proudly and happily so, there's nothing. I sleep and dream broadcasting. I've tested both, radio and TV, I've done it. But as we speak now, I'm still begging to get a license. That is my own license. This Biscom Communication you're talking about, yes, a 24-hour channel, quite all right. But at best, we're online, maybe. And we're on the Go TV.
Go TV.
Go TV, does that have the kind of strength that DSTV has? It does not. And in fact, why not Biscom? That is Biscom, my own Biscom, branded Biscom.
Yeah.
I won't be on anybody's table. Are you following what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the story is that, BOS was what I started with when I left the FRCN. BOS, as you know, was supposed to be 25 last year. But because we have this big one, the 50th anniversary in broadcasting of mine that we've slated for this year, when I said, let's quickly merge both.
Yeah.
So BOS is a different story entirely. BOS, as you know, without me saying it, we brought a totally different kind of thing into reporting mere parties. We brought professionalism into it. We made it a very special thing, apart from helping to tell the whole world about our stories, our ways of life and all that.
But you give it a flavor.
What we did was all the things we got in broadcasting, and I keep thanking Radio Nigeria for that. They make you an all-round broadcaster. So that's what we brought in. And for the discerning mind, when they see that this guy comes with the best in terms of you edit properly, your voice, about the best range of voices are those that you get to hear at the end of the day. Very well packaged. I'm trying to tell you what people say.
No, we are recipients of such beauty. Remember the pink ball by Betty Irabor? And then pink ball, turquoise ball. In fact, you've done everything about it.
Can you count?
May Gabriel Otaruso rest in peace, another linguist like you.
Yes.
But you gave him a lifeline in that direction, and that was so good for us.
So, talking about the emergence of the Biscom Communications, the Biscom TV actually, 24 hours. We do news, just what you see on a regular station is what we do. We do news, we do interviews, and so on and so forth. As I said, we're on Go TV 144 on Biscom TV on Go TV 144.
Go TV 144.
Yeah, we're live as we speak now on what do you call that? On YouTube, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Millions actually are watching. You can't believe it. When my young ones who are handling it told me that as we speak now, we have no less than 5 million watching. So that's big.
What really do you need BC for?
That's big. That's big. And watch all over the world.
Yeah.
That's big. So why we did that was that just so we can come on board with what's going on. Let nobody leave us behind. Otherwise, if you get left behind, I don't worry about that. And the BOS were packing so much into BOS. So we just thought we needed to expand. And when we got the opportunity from this same multi-choice that have refused to give us a station on DSTV, we said, let's just manage it, let's see how it goes. So that's just to be able to expand. You know, that's what I'm saying. I mean, BOS, in just 1 hour, you pack all those in. But now that you have a 24-hour channel, you're able to spread out. So it's an extended version of BOS, actually.
Right, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll look at Bisi Olatilo, not just the linguist, the broadcaster, but he's also showbiz impresario. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Bisi Olatilo, Prince Bisi Olatilo. My colleague, yes. My friend, yes. But he's a no-nonsense guy, I tell you. One day, there was an event, and the cameramen were everywhere. Bisi went to them and said, listen, you are the ones spoiling this show. Because it's simply arranged in such a way that anybody who is sitting there can see well. Cameramen will go in front of everybody and block. How did you manage all of those processes, you know, when you're emceeing an event and then they want to carry your nose, you know?
No, the thing there is that if you are a trained cameraman or a trained broadcaster, you must know your limits. You shouldn't go past your limits. Once you are going past your limit, then opening yourself for some insults, maybe tiny and all that. But as I said earlier on, in broadcasting, the kind of training you and I had gotten, we've been trained in all aspects of it. Whether you're a cameraman, whether you're a script writer, whether you're a newscaster, newsreader, whatever it is. So you should know the areas you shouldn't pass. Let me just put it colloquially. And any cameraman who's overstepping his bounds, well, whatever comes to him in terms of he takes. But that's not the mark of professionalism. That's not good. You have to do the right thing without even being told.
But why don't they ever listen? That's the question I need to always want to answer properly. They don't listen.
What do you do with them? Like you tell them every day. That's the first thing.
We had an event yesterday, last night, at the Vanguard Awards.
And the guy kept shouting and the rest of it. And I didn't, to be honest with you, another thing we should try and avoid for those who have the opportunity to handle the microphone at big events like that, is not to talk down on broadcasters or journalists or whatever. The guy kept saying pressmen.
Well, it shows his own lack of understanding.
And he's got a beautiful voice. By the way, that's the guy that does most of the commentaries that you hear on BOS.
Okay.
Yes, what's that his name? Ben Obewi.
Okay.
He's not a young man, he's about 52 or something. And as for his voice is beautiful, but he needs to learn a bit of...
But did you tell him thereafter?
I won't be there, because him and I talk almost every day. We send messages to one another, to each other rather. And he does most of our voices, that I told you. An event just about how many minutes ago, my guys went to cover an event in Ibadan. No, I'm sorry. Which we've sent the report to him already. Maybe his voice, I don't even know. But we can do all of that. But you have to also know how to, don't talk down on him while telling him that.
So it's pari passu.
You know, these young guys, you just have to be very careful with them. I've been telling him that I like the way he pronounces words and the rest of it, but he should learn more properly how to pronounce people's names.
It's very essential.
Since it's almost, he's a regular MC at different events. And if you murder people's names, they don't take kindly to it.
Wahala.
It's not even too good for you. No matter how good you say the voices, I better go. That man will not be called name now. So professionalism, we need to have quite a lot of time to try and brush them up. That I think is missing now.
Okay, now, you're 50 years in broadcasting.
By God's grace. Yes.
You've seen a lot over time.
Yeah.
And in the last 10 years, maybe, or even 5 years, there's been a single-mindedness in the approach, in the age difference between the youth and the adults, and you and I, and professionalism. There's now more of single-mindedness in the individualization of whoever is playing the role of a broadcaster. So how do you see the youth on radio, youth on TV, and how we manage the situation, as it were?
These are questions that I get asked every day.
Yes, because things are changing.
I must say that no matter what you think about them, they have their own low moments. They have the low things you can't mark them highly on, but you can't talk down on them entirely, because they have the good areas too. When you're talking about engaging at interviews like this, they engage properly.
Yeah.
It means they also do their research.
Very well.
Maybe now that we're talking about this technology thing that is coming in their favor, which we didn't quite have the opportunity of having.
Have the opportunity.
Maybe it's coming to their gain and all that, leveraging very well on it. But another thing I must say is that to do with, we just talked about the names now, pronunciations and the rest of it, and some of them get out of hand trying to sound
American, English,
unnatural,
European, unnatural.
You know, and I said to them, when we ask them, they give us those that have inspired them.
Remember Professor Endin, who spoke 13 languages, and he became an authority.
Yes. So they're saying, they mention people's names, mention like Soni Irabor, Manion. I said, do they speak like Oibos? They said, no. Please try and mimic them. They will try and talk like them if you really want to be a good broadcaster. But anything outside it, you're not doing what you're told to do. So they should try not to do things that are not in the books, so to speak. Because you and I know that the rules don't change. They can never change forever.
No, the BBC is there.
They
have the house rules, as it were.
If you're in doubt, leave out.
Leave out.
But try and educate yourself, so you'll be able to dominate your environment. He can't undergo because bless his soul. Bless his soul. He says that's why you have to read a cut above any other person, so that you'll be able to dominate your environment properly. Ikenna will say to you that as MC, his own surpasses just being an MC. You must do a program out of that program, in such a way that even the organizers will be saying, you tiff our book because you see, he goes out prepared for it, and that's what I try to tell the younger ones that seek my advice on such things, because you have to also know the way you go about it with them. Somebody say, now time don't pass now.
There's no such thing as time passing.
Oh.
There's no. So we came into a situation where the so-called time didn't pass, but we learned from it. They went their ways, and we continued
down. Yes. Yes. But another thing we try to say when we have the opportunity to say that is, I'm sure you also didn't just start broadcasting like Soni Irabor. You must have had some people, let's even put it let's break it down. You were trying to copy. In my own case, I was trying to sound like Martin Zoko, Mario Zugada.
Because he gave you a reason to believe that he could do it.
Mario Zugada and the rest of it. But when it just took some time off, and I had my own, what do you call it, that others are saying they want to read the news like. Like the guy who first came to us, Lekon Ahmed, that's his name. I'm sure you should know him. He's in FRCN. Still there, I should think. He came and said, without even paying me, he wants to work with us, to be taking all the commentaries and the viewers and the rest. I said, no, let's do it rightly. We will pay you. But he joined us.
Did anything, you see, you were in charge of what became Bond FM, Radio 3.
Yes.
Did anything rub off from you? Because you started, it was Zobian broadcast nature, Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, Pidgin.
Because I was a natural choice for it at the time.
Yes.
They were looking for somebody to head. Soni Irabor was the director, Lagos National Station at the time.
Yeah.
And whatever fell on him to try.
He was my boss when he was director of training.
Look for somebody to man, and who else would have done it well?
It was a natural thing.
But the thing that I keep saying about that is I thank God for it, because even I became more brushed, even in my own language, because I had to now deal with those who went to school, who went to school and got degrees
in the languages.
In the languages, Yoruba, Hausa, not Pidgin, Igbo. They really went to school for it. So they've helped me to build up my vocabulary in Igbo language and understanding of the language. Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? So that has kept me on till today.
When you now started your own TV network,
yes.
Forget about whether license or no license. I mean, when you're talking about YouTube, 5 million viewers, and then Go TV, you are looking at a whole scenario that you didn't bargain for.
Definitely.
So therefore, that means you need to spread your tentacles a bit more. What was instructive for you that made you learn a lesson of sort? Because you are in charge of Biscon TV. Small, ordinary.
No, but the thing about it is that I still go back to the training we got in radio. Radio gives you an all-encompassing training. You're not deficient in anything. That's it, if you're not a lazy person.
Yeah.
And I have the passion flowing in me, even as I'm speaking now. But for this interview, I was writing a story. Some stories I write myself. If I think they're big events, I do the writing myself. And it doesn't have to go out until I've seen and listened to it and all that.
Okay, before we go into your events, because very soon we'll be celebrating, what date is it?
It's Tuesday, the 13th of May.
13th of May.
Muson Center, which is not too far away.
Give or take roughly a month to go.
Around
a few
that.
days.
Okay. Yes.
Now, here you are, Biscon TV. Here you are, Bisi Olatilo show. Here you are, MC, showbiz impresario. Here you are, multilinguist. One thing I want to add is you have a way of reaching out to every Tom, Dick, and Harriet, whether old, young, or in between. Who are you, Bisi?
I don't know what you mean by Tom, Dick, and Harry. You want to change it and say it properly?
No, it's how I look at it. Everybody that has been, somebody has been, they know who Bisi Olatilo is.
Because I have been on my toes, not on my feet.
Yes. Even so your networking ability is...
Wow. I told you about my brand equity.
Yes.
That is almost becoming something like an overflowing bank account. That up till when I go at about maybe 100 plus, I still be using from it. Because I've amassed it from the various interactions I've had over the time. And when I sit down and see what we've done, what we're trying to do these days to celebrate ourselves is to go back in time to see what we've done in the 36 states of Nigeria. We're talking about insecurity now. And we go, all these things, we go by our vans.
Right.
I go with them most of the time. Are you talking of Maiduguri, Borno State? The same Borno you're talking about. During the time of, what's that guy called now? Modu Sharif.
Modu Sheriff, yes.
That
was the origin of the whole problem.
We were almost living in Borno State at the time.
Okay.
Borno, Jigawa, during Samini Turaki's time.
Yes.
What's his name? Danjuma Gojo's time in
there was also
in Gombe. There's Bauchi, Isa Yuguda, all of them. Then there's also Adamu Alero of Kebi, during the Ajurugungu Fishing Festival and all of that. Just name it. We're going back in time and saying, you mean we did all of this? And we're showing it. Kogi,
and that is what Nigeria is missing today.
We're missing it. So that is where I draw my power from, of all this, knowing this and that and all that. I'm trying to that's what in fact, when I left radio, that's what I started leveraging on. I mean, if you MCing everywhere, events everywhere, and so on and so forth. And to the extent that even the presidents knew us, were talking to terms and the rest of it at the time. I will just thank God for what the Lord has done, because that I'm still talking, that I'm still as active as this. Maybe what we're celebrating is 50 active years of broadcasting.
50 active years of broadcasting.
That is what it is.
It is, because, and we're going to talk about it very soon.
That is what it is.
It's
not just dropping.
No way. We won't,
numbers.
We won't let it drop. We'll just discuss it item by item.
50 active
We'll
years.
be right back after the short break, and then we'll go into the nitty-gritty of 50 years of broadcasting. Prince Bisi Olatilo, newscaster, TV station owner or TV network owner, MC extraordinaire, and he's also a man who was always doing a show, Bisi Olatilo Show. And we just heard before we went on break that he'd gone through the 36 states of Nigeria. Not many of us can boast of that, I tell you. But you are a custodian of the many things that will hold Nigeria together. So, having seen that, what do you advise Nigerians, especially politicians, should be doing now, especially that security is a major issue?
Well, we can't say too much. We can't be tired of saying it. Let the politicians, or we Nigerians, let's love ourselves the way we love others. Let's not love ourselves more than we love others. That's what I've noticed. And this was not prevalent when we were growing up. Well, I mean, growing up meaning when the likes of me and people in my category, my contemporaries were growing up. I told you the story about Kano and so on and so forth. It wasn't as bad as this. Even politics in those days was not as bad as this today. It's not as bad as this today. People think more about
themselves
these days instead of bringing everybody on the table, and let's treat each other as human beings.
Can security be better ever?
Oh, I wish we can come back. I will go back the time and bring how it used to be in those days. These areas, these places I was telling you about, that we were going with a van. Oh, Lord, may God bless Sule Laleko. Oh God, that guy gave his life to Biscon. At any time of the day, 2 o'clock, midnight, and the rest of it, we'll head up. We're going to Zamfara. We're going to Sokoto. We will go to Maiduguri. What do you call it? Gombe, Kwara, Nasarawa, during Abdullahi Adamuz and Al-Makura. Oh God of mercy. if we have, these are the things we're asking you to allow us to show. All these things we're talking about, you would have seen the shots. We brought the visuals here to show. Then are you talking about Cross River State? Are you talking about Akwa Ibom? Are you talking about, well, Lagos? Just forget Lagos. Lagos is also there, and all parts of the country. Actually, what we're celebrating about BOS now is that BOS was mightier or stronger than some mainstream television stations. Mm-hmm. It was like if you don't have your events, covered and broadcast on BOS, it's like, you never come with that. Then we're having us broadcast on platforms like AIT, NTA Network, and what's it called that now? BTV London.
Okay,
you can have a stronger thing than that. So we're reaching out on a weekly basis now. All right? I mean, you remember the times of Ngige? Mm-hmm. 2000, that was where abduction actually started.
That was an interesting one indeed.
And he was the one up till today, till tomorrow actually, that you can praise for revolutionizing road revolution in the East, especially Anambra. Oh, he was out to just build good roads then. And we're helping him to tell the world about it. We were in Ebonyi, we were in Imo, we were in Anambra, we were in, just name it, all over the country. And it was BOS that was doing all of this. We were the ones that told the world that where you're talking about tourism in the real sense of it, go to Cross River State. We blew it to the world during Donald Duke's time for 8 whole years. We were like living there.
He also took me and my wife to Ubudu Cattle Ranch.
We were the ones that first covered, did the packaging on that, and we threw it out to the world. And he will say to you that, no, BC did quite a lot for him. And in fact, he handed us over. We got retainership, and retainership continued until Lieli Moke's time and Yadi.
Okay.
Definitely. They just didn't joke with us because they saw the difference in the way we were doing our packaging.
Donald Duke has also maintained a good repertoire of friendship.
Definitely.
Definitely. He's a man who is loyal to his friends.
That's why we put him as one of the members of the committee helping to plan this.
Wow, at that level?
Yeah.
Who's the chairman?
He himself and Chief Nika Konde are both sharing it.
Yeah.
They're both coordinating it. You're a member of it, but you're an absentee member.
Absentee member. I just got my letter from you.
Don't you read your mobile, what do you call your WhatsApp?
Okay.
Have I not been throwing some messages to you?
Yeah. So it's a celebration that we are planning for and looking forward to. But what are we looking at, really? Between now and the 13th of May, a lot will happen and a lot can happen. And I'm sure, to me, there will be more interviews like this coming your way, Bisi Olatilo, you represent a lot to many professionals, okay? But then, what is in you or with you that you regret? Is there anything in broadcasting that you regret?
In broadcasting, no.
In show business?
No, but what I should say that I've said many times, and I want to forget about it, with a lot of prayers. What we have at Biscom premises, where we're operating from, have been gutted by fire twice, brought down to rubbles. 2006 and 2015.
Times?
Yes, how did we get back?
How did you get
It's
back?
enough to kill your business. But thank God, friends were there. And God, the Lord was there with me too. So hundreds of millions got back and built up the whole place again. Got our equipment back and all that. That's the only one. But should I be talking about regrets when the Lord has taken over? Well, the major regret is that up till now I don't have a TV station. I still talk about it.
I hope NBC is listening.
I hope they're not deaf. We've said it over and over again. We're tired of saying it.
Well, maybe there's a reason behind whatever it is, but
the thing about it is that if you're talking about what we're doing is like BOS, we're doing something different. I don't know how many people do what we're doing. Ours is events as they're happening. And if you know the kind of, we're very rich in terms of all the things that happened
in the US,
many years ago.
In the US, they're supposed to be the flag bearer of show business in the world. You know, there are stations of different kinds, you know, different elements and different styles.
We've said it over and we've said we're tired of saying it. But that's why we had to just rejig, retool, and born ourselves again. So, I mean, if the whole world can watch you and see you, so why are you crying about anybody?
I would love to see you, you know, rebroadcast some of those contents that you referred to earlier on that went through the 36 states. I mean, there are not many at all. And I would really love to see that all over again.
We've been doing that.
And on YouTube, that's brilliant.
Oh, yes, we've been doing that. As we speak now, if you go to YouTube and you just type Biscon TV.
Biscon TV, yes.
That's what you'll be watching there. That's what we've been doing in the last 1 week, and we'll continue to do that. And in fact, okay, well, let me not be the interviewer now.
No. 50 years of broadcasting of Bisi Olatilo as a broadcaster, as a professional, and as one who is a showbiz person, as one who, how did you manage to be a CEO, an MC, a showbiz person, and a content creator, and a script writer? And you used to also read your news as well, I noticed.
I just said that to make what do you call
About
that?
to round off, yes.
I just said that to make a point. How can I be doing all? I have no less than 50 people working with me who do different things.
I'm saying over the years, I saw you do from, you were flip-flopping all over the place, and here you are. It don't show for your body.
Yeah, I go show for my body. I know when to take my break. No matter how much the noise is, when you reach one, I don't reach when I finish watching my news at 1.
Okay, I have 2 questions to round off.
Go ahead.
One, your advice to the leaders of Nigeria, then your advice to professionals.
Well, before that, I thought you were going to ask us what we have for
the
events.
Please. That's
we have a special awards for those we consider who've done very well.
That's right.
We have for the businessman of the year to be Alhaji Samad Rabiu, businessman of the year. The banker of the year would be what do you call that? Wema Bank, which is 80 years, the longest standing indigenous bank. Yes.
Continuously, without changing name.
Definitely.
That's good.
The oldest. And we have for the bank, I mean, this woman just somehow, she's been helping us over time. I'm talking of Zenith Bank, the woman at the head now, Dr. Omoji, O-O-N.
Okay.
She's the one that decided to give that to the banker of the year. And of course, the entrepreneur of the year is Barrister Uju, Ifejika OFR.
Okay.
And so on and so forth. Well, we're talking, we will give awards to ourselves. The most professionally run television station, we give it to channels. We're celebrating 30 years now.
30 years.
Yes, and of course the man we call, the man who has made the most outstanding disruption in the media is the guy who owns Prince Bisi with Rise. Let's
Real disruption.
Let's be honest with ourselves.
I like the way you use the word disruption.
And our friend, what's called him, Bayelsa State-born Senator Ben Bruce.
Oh yes.
Personality of the showbiz personality of the year. You know, he's taking us to the world.
In fact, the decade, if anything, or decades.
Then I think Alhaji Aliko Dangote, who's a personal friend who's done well for us, has.
By the way, answer my question regarding your advice for leadership and professionals.
What
should I take it off from there?
What our professionals should do?
What's your advice? Because you mentioned some things. Can you encapsulate them in short few seconds?
No, I mean, if you're talking about professionals generally, is it in broadcasting now?
Broadcasting.
Do we limit it to broadcasting?
Well, your call.
To be honest with you, I've said it, I can't be tired of saying it. Passion, hard work should be part of it.
Yeah.
And try and be inclusive. If you can't do it all alone. I tried it, I failed. I decided to add some people to join me.
Okay.
And that is something I think is good for everybody to have to learn from.
Fantastic. Leadership.
Leadership.
With all this security wahala.
Security. That security thing, to be honest with you, what do we do? like when you go to the police, say everybody should be involved in security.
Everybody, but we don't unite, we don't interact. So how can everybody be involved in something there's no interaction?
They say we should try and when you see something, say something.
Who will believe you? Because they will say also
some will even be hiding. If you know where it is, say it. So that can help.
Yeah.
I hope that will help us.
Okay, so we've been talking about Prince Bisi Olatilo, a man of the moment, a man 50. Thank you very much, and thank you, Bisi. Congratulations.
Okay,
bye-bye, everybody.